What is up, YouTube? A lot of people have been asking for this, and seeing how I'm going to be maining my shaman this season, it's only right that I make a resto shaman guide. What you're seeing on the screen right now are clickable annotations to take you that particular part of the video. Enjoy. Alright, so macros. All of these will be in the description, so don't worry about having to memorize them or write them down or anything. This macro really comes in handy when I'm running with the Warlock. What it is just a simple Battlemasters trinket with a healthstone. So using this at around 20% health will bring you up to around 60. This next macro is just a simple focus purge. I use this when I don't want to change my target and I need to dispel somebody quickly. This next one is just a simple symbiosis macro so I can have it on my bars and keybounds. This next macro is how I keep myself at the bottom of the frames in a game. This macro is a help harm macro. How it works is if you're targeting an enemy, it'll turn to Purge, and if you're targeting a teammate, it'll turn into your Cleanse. I really liked the old pre-spell mechanics, so I made this macro to make life a little bit easier. These next two macros are just Focus Hex and Focus Windshear. I really only use these in Battlegrounds. These next three macros are how I move the enemy unit frames to about like right here. The next macros are my Hex 1, 2, 3 and my Shear 1, 2, 3 with stop casting. These will be in the description again. My next macros that I use are my targeting macros. Just really simple. Just target party 2, target party 1, target myself. Alright, so that's really it as far as macros go. The next part of this video will just be some tips on key bindings. Okay, so there's no real right or wrong way to keybind all of your macros and abilities, it's just really your preference. But one thing you can do to make it easier for you to memorize them is to have similar binds. For example, my Hex macros and my Shear macros are all next to each other just with a different modifier key. On my Shaman and my Priest, I have Trinket on the same key, Flash You on the same keybind. Just things like that to make your binds easier to memorize will really help you in Arena. Alright, so talents. For my first year talent, I'm running with Nature's Guardian. I think that's better than Astral Shift and Stone Bulwark Totem because it has a less cooldown. You don't really need to worry about it, and it'll proc regardless of silence or stuns, and it'll pretty much always keep you alive while it's up. For the level 30 talents, I'm running with Windwalk Totem. This is a really strong talent because it's basically a Paladin's Freedom for all of your teammates, and it's only on a 1-minute cooldown. So for the next tier, I'm running with Totemic Persistence. This talent is really good because you can have your healing stream down with Healing Tide, and that's really a lot of healing at once with those two totems down. So at level 60, you want to take Ancestral Swiftness. This talent's really good because it'll passively increase your spell haste by 5%. Whenever you use NS, you want to try and use it with your Unleash Elements because it'll make it a lot stronger. The next talent that you want is Rushing Streams. It makes your healing stream totem heal 2 people for 15% more of what it would used to heal for. The last talent that you want is Unleash Fury because it makes your Earth Living Weapon enchantment heal for 50% more on the target that you're healing. So that's about it for talents. For glyphs, there's 2 that you want in every single game. Those are Glyph of Totemic Vigor and Glyph of Ghost Wolf. What Totemic Vigor does is it gives your totems a bit of health and prevents them from being killed so easily. Glyph of Ghost Wolf will prevent you from going below normal run speed while in Ghost Wolf form. The only glyphs that you can change are Hex, Healing Stream Totem, and Capacitor. These glyphs are really situational. You want Hex for a game that you'll need to be getting a lot of hexes off on the enemy healer, and you can use Glyph of Healing Stream Totem whenever you're fighting a team with a lot of fire, frost, and nature damage, because it reduces the damage taken by those 3 sources by 10% for 6 seconds whenever you get healed by Healing Stream. You'll want to use Capacitor whenever you're fighting a team with a lot of strong melee, so you can just put it down, stand on it, and just peel for yourself whenever you're being attacked. That's about it for glyphs. So for cooldowns, you have 5 big ones. Those are Spirit Worker's Grace, Spirit Link, Ascendance, Ancestral Swiftness, and Healing Tide. So in a game, there's usually an order of which you'll use those, And I like to use my Ancestral Swiftness with Unleash to a greater heal. That'll usually keep somebody alive. The next cooldown that usually goes would be Ascendance, and that's just really good for dealing with spread pressure. The next cooldown that I'll use is Spirit Worker's Grace. That's really a good cooldown because it's an Aura Mastery and you can run while you're casting. So that lets you keep your team topped up. The next cooldown that you want to use is your Healing Tide with your Healing Stream. Those two together really keep your entire team topped off for the duration of your Healing Tide. Your last resort cooldown that you want to use is Spirit Link. That'll really keep you alive in any situation from even like 1% health. So you want to try and use your cooldowns about 45 seconds apart. That way you'll always have something that you can use in every situation that you'll need a cooldown to keep your team up in. That's about it for cooldowns. What I'm going to talk about now is your stat priority for your gear. What you want is Spirit and then Crit, followed by Intellect, Mastery, and lastly Haste. The reason why Crit is right after Spirit is because whenever you crit with a spell, you'll be getting back 5300 mana when you have Water Shield up. So when I crit this Healing Surge, or not, when I crit this one, I got 5300 mana back. So when you crit a lot of heals, you'll be getting a lot of mana back with crit, so that's why crit is up there. That's really all I can talk about with your gear because the stat priority is only the really thing that you need to know. So there's a lot of basic things that I can talk about, so I'll just start with Earth Shield. You always want to have Earth Shield up on whoever's being hit because they're getting healed when they get hit, plus they're getting healed for 20% of whatever you heal them for. Knowing when you need to have Earth Shield on yourself is very important. If you can stay alive without Earth Shield while you're being attacked, then keep Ward Shield up because you'll be really efficient with mana. It's not always the best idea to have Earth Shield on yourself whenever you're being attacked. If you're not really taking a lot of damage, then you're just wasting mana by not having Water Shield up. Because with Water Shield, if you're being hit, you're getting mana back, so you'll stay really mana efficient. This next thing may sound like common sense, but be sure to always have your weapon imbued with Earth Living. So one way to stay really mana efficient is to use Healing Wave on your teammates that are above 80% health just to top them. When you use it with Riptide and Unleash Elements, it's like a really fast heal and it's as good as a flash heal almost. The next thing that you want to do is just use Riptide on cooldown. If you use it right, you can be on all three of your teammates at the same time because it's a 6-second cooldown and it's up for about 19 seconds depending on your haste. The next thing that you want to do is use Unleash Elements on cooldown because it doubles any heal that you do. Another thing that you want to use on cooldown is your Healing Stream. You want to use that every time that it's up. If it's not down, you're doing something wrong. Another thing that you can do to help pump out some damage for your team is use your Fire Ellie Totem with Stormlash so that you're doing a lot of damage. The last pretty basic thing that I can talk about to stay mana efficient is to make sure you always have Water Shield on yourself and to use Mana Tide Totem whenever you're below 80% mana, and then you want to use it on cooldown whenever it's up so that you'll stay really mana efficient. Alright, that about wraps it up for this video. Thanks for watching, I hope you guys learned something.